Hi, I'm Mitch Axelrod. I'm the creator and the founder of the New Game series, and today I want to talk about the new game of IP, or intellectual property. It may surprise you to know that the intellectual property is the fastest growing capital asset in the world. 70, 80, 90% of the asset value of the biggest companies in the world are not in products, they're not in services, they're not in plant and equipment, they're in intellectual property. I say the most valuable real estate in the world is not Beverly Hills, it's not the south of France, and it's not Midtown Manhattan, it's the 6 inches between your ears. And the beautiful part about intellectual property is you have it and I have it, and never before in the history of humankind has intellectual property been so valuable as a capital asset. In the new game of business, content is the currency of the new game of business. In the last 2 years alone, $60 billion of marketing money has moved from the traditional advertising and marketing mediums to content marketing. It's estimated that within the next couple of years, as much as $1 trillion will be available for us, intellectual property holders, authorities, and experts, not just to sell it to companies, but actually to license it to companies as a capital asset that they can use internally, externally, and even with their customers. And so the new game of IP is essentially how do you capitalize, monetize, and actualize your most valuable 6 inches. Now, if you think about it, we have intellectual property, we have products, we have packages, we have programs. When we reduce our intellectual property to a form, a package, a program, or a product, not only do we trap it inside of that form, but we also trap it inside of a price range. Well, the value of your intellectual property is much greater than the value of the package that you've trapped it inside. And think about this. If you have a program, you have a package, you have a product, what you're selling is that package, that product, or that program. People have to buy it in the form in which you create it. Back in 1991, I did a seminar called 21 Ways to Double Your Sales. I allowed my clients to record the seminar. At the end of this seminar, the VP of marketing came up to me and said, "Mitch, we love that seminar. We'd like to have it." I said, "What would you like to do with it?" He said, "We want it for all 4,000 of our sales agents." And I got $10 per person times 4,000. I walked out of that speaking engagement with a $40,000 commitment, not for my package, not for my product, but just for that talk. And I realized at that moment in time, I was not in the training business, I was not in the speaking business, I was not in the product business, I was not in the consulting business, I was in the intellectual property business. 30 days later, they came back to me and said, "You know what we need? We need a workbook." And so I sold them a workbook that I hadn't even created yet. And here's the big distinction. When we productize, we package, or we create a program, we are McDonald's. We are selling it, and they get it our way. But when you take intellectual property from up here, you can give it to them like Burger King. I'm Burger King, I give it to you your way. So think about the opportunities today where you could take your intellectual property, return it back from the form to the essence of created it, and begin to look at organizations, companies, nonprofits, customers that you have who could license your intellectual property and do all kinds of things with it that they couldn't do in the prepackaged form in which you sell it. Now, one other really critical distinction about intellectual property versus information products. We sell information products. People buy information products. It's a zero-sum game. They either buy it in the way you packaged it, or they don't buy it. Intellectual property, on the other hand, is a capital asset. When you're selling your information, your program, your product, your package, you are a vendor. This is so critical. If you want to stop being a vendor and you want to start being a partner, a collaborative partner, and you want to get off the vendor list and get on that very exclusive list of very few people who come in as a partner, stop telling people about your package and your program and your product. Start talking about how you can take your intellectual property as a capital asset, allow them to deploy it so they can make money with your capital asset, and all of a sudden now you're on the same side of the table with them. You're a partner in profitability as opposed to a vendor who's trying to sell a prepackaged program. Critical distinction, and one that would be worth millions of dollars to you if you begin to understand that the essence that created all of your products, all of your programs, all of your packaging is worth far more in unform than it might be in the form in which you created. All right? And so what my parting words to you are, the market is changing, the game is changing. Your intellectual property is not just valuable as a product, a program, or a package. Your intellectual property now is marketing currency. It's customer capital. And when you begin to have a collaborative conversation with people about how they can deploy your intellectual property for their profit, the game will change. All of a sudden, you're going to find opportunities everywhere because they're hiding in plain sight. So that's the new game of IP. I'm playing it. I encourage you to play it. It's the greatest game I've ever been involved with. And you're a player. You can change the game. And I look forward to meeting you on the intellectual property playing field again very soon.